Hi there, welcome back to my channel, and if you are new, my name is Christy and I am in northern Alberta, Canada, growing zone 2B. So on my farm I have flowers that I sell wholesale to florists. I have a couple florists that I do supply regularly or weekly, and then I also grow a very large majority of my own food, and I do a lot of canning and preserving. So we didn't really get a normal spring for us. We're about a month ahead of what I'm used to or what I'd planned my garden and my succession planting for. So this year has been really interesting, but it's been good for flowers, except all of my tulips decided to start blooming at one time and 3 days after Mother's Day. It's kind of weedy, but I have some garlic. It's doing really well. I just weeded this the other day. We had a little bit of a rain shower, and guess what? The weeds are back. And the Queen of Night is doing really well. I just harvested a whole bunch out of here tonight. They look good. It's got a lot of nettle, and I was weeding the nettle, but I discovered something. Grasshoppers prefer nettle over tulips, and we got a big hatch of grasshoppers, so I'm leaving the nettle for the grasshoppers to eat as a trap crop. The daffodils, I just harvested them today. Same thing. The daffodils are getting eaten, or the grasshoppers are eating the nettle and leaving alone the daffodils. The daffodils are really slow this year. I don't know why, but the tulips were up before the daffs. So, and then these are the maureen bulbs. They have really big flowers. They're super pretty. They're starting to go here, a little crazy. And then this is another, we have two types of Queen of Night. These are smaller bulbs. And then the ones back there I just showed you are the large bulbs, the giant bulbs. And then these are a mix from Van Noort. I ordered the 750 pack of the rainbow mix, and I used a lot of yellow, and that was like one of the first colors that was out, was yellow, but it wasn't a lot of yellow, which is odd because usually in mixes there's lots of yellow, but it's lots of reds and oranges, which is really kind of nice. But I'm gonna try to let this patch perennialize out here and see what happens. The dogwoods are doing really well. I don't want to go over there because it's muddy. I'll just kind of show you kind of right there. I had planted my phlox, continuing on from some of the hydrangea seedlings that hydrangeas that we planted last year. I'll take you over there and show you, but I can't walk over there because it's really wet. But I did plant phlox there to finish that row. And it's just been weeding and watering. As you can tell, I've been doing a lot of weeding here because it is crazy weedy, and I haven't had a chance to get the pathways and stuff done because I've been so busy. But working on it. And then the dogwoods, they're doing really well here. I did weed this the day before yesterday, and I didn't get a chance. I wanted to remulch it because I have a bunch of that mulch there to use up. And I would like to go over this. I might actually lay some cardboard down to kind of tamp down the weeds. And then the hydrangeas here, they're doing really well. Some of them had a slow start, but yeah. And then the tomatoes, I watered them, and the marigolds, the chickens got a couple of them. And then the tomatoes, I just watered them there. They're all doing really well. So it got really cool, but they rooted in really good. So I'm just gonna move this. The beauty of having this is, I'm watering with dugout water. So anyone that's concerned about me using water right now, with this heat that we've been having, I'm not using town water. Oh great, I'm gonna get wet. I'm not using town water. I'm using dugout water, and the water is hooked up to our shop. We have two different systems. We have this one that's like pond water, and then I wasn't gonna use this water because the intake was down on the bottom, but it's been actually pretty good, pretty decent. And it's kind of like the plants are getting a feeding of compost tea when I use it. So they're doing well. I haven't seen any disease because I've been using it, and I will continue. Reggie, don't you dare dig my tomatoes, you little turkey. Reggie, psst, psst, psst. I still have not trimmed my raspberries. It's on my list of things to do, and I've been using this, and I keep it parked here because when I pull my hoses, it's like a guard so that I don't run over any of my hydrangeas or anything, because I haven't put my pegs in yet. And I still don't have any of my calla lilies up yet. They have sprouted, but they haven't come up yet. And because we've been having some pretty cool nights still, and I don't expect them to come up for another week or so. And then these are some brassicas. I need to get some bigger hoops because they're going to start growing through, but they're doing actually really well. I was concerned because it got so hot, but they're doing okay. So I'm happy with that. I did notice I'm going to have this little patch of delphinium. There's actually quite a few delphinium that gets produced in this little patch. This plant is these plants I think are like 3 or 4 years old, and so I'm pretty excited to see that. And then this was last year's. Look at that! Look at all those grasshoppers. Can you see them? They're just everywhere. This is why I let my chickens and my guineas in here, so that they can eat them. Anyway, it is last year's yarrow I started it from seed last year, and it looks like it's doing okay. Not sure what this is, but it looks kind of intentional. Okay, Reggie, you stay out. Oh, my lawn. I don't even want to look at this. But the daffodils, I have daffodils here, and then down in here I have some more of the phlox planted, and then up here I just planted more sedum. So the daffodils will die back, and then the sedum will fill this all in as a perennial, which is great. And I'm really happy to see that my rhubarb came back that I planted last year. It was brutalized by the chickens and the grasshoppers, and it's doing really well, so I'm happy with that. These trees we planted last year withstood 50 below Celsius. And this is the variety, September Ruby Apple. They both did well, they both bloomed. And they had a really nice bloom, bigger than I thought it was gonna be. So they're doing pretty good. In here, I have dahlias. They are coming up nicely, so that's good. And then I have honeywort and some sweet Annie, and then blue plurum to finish out this bed. Gotta have filler. I haven't done any planting or weed whacking or pulling any weeds on the gravel. We need to do something with this gravel. Gravel is terrible for maintenance. It is awful for maintenance. I'm not a fan of gravel for maintenance, especially with the amount of dandelions we have. But I'm going to be planting this out. I think I'm going to put my peppers and start putting like veggies in here. And then these are some of my tulips that I've been selling with the florists in town. These are all Van Noort. We did an unboxing with that. So I have Queen of Night. This one, so this is Queen of Night. We have those over at the other garden spot in the field. They're field planted, I should say. These ones are Salmon Van Eyck. These ones are Freeman. They're really pretty. These ones are Disneyland Paris. I'm not a fan of them. To be honest, I'm not. I don't know why. These ones started opening today. This isn't a really good example. I'll pop a good example up here on the screen, but these are Cranberry Kiss. They're actually, I think they're labeled Uncle Tom, but they were sold as Cranberry Kiss, so I don't know if it's like a labeling issue. These ones, I don't know what they are yet. I have it on the list at home in the house, but I don't know what it is yet. These ones are Lady Van Eyck. They're stunning. I've been pulling them like crazy. I've sold a lot of them. They were the first ones to bloom. And they were the first ones. And then over there was the Prisma on the end. I'll show you those. And then Disneyland Paris. Disneyland Paris has incredible stem length, as does the Van Eycks, and the well, all the Van Eycks have amazing stem length, as do the Queen of Nights. They're crazy cool how long their stems are. Like, they're longer than my arm. These are Angelique. They just started budding today, or popping a little bit. I harvested one, I packed it up for an order. Then these ones are, I believe these are called Silk Road. So those are starting to bloom. I don't know what these are. I'll pop it up on the screen. These guys here are Cream Flag. And then these ones were Secret Perfume. I harvested all of those. They smell amazing. They're really short though. These guys are called Angel's Wish. They're really pretty. They have these really cute little bell cups. Like, they're so cute. This one, I don't know if there's a tag here. I have it in the house. I'll post the name of it. Then these guys are Double Shirley, it says. And then these are Flaming Prisma, and they don't look really good now. I'm letting those perennialize so I can plant. So these are going to be no-till. And so I'm going to plant, actually, I think I'm going to go over it with either zinnias or squash. Haven't decided yet. We'll see. But I'm going to let them perennialize, and we will see, because these are all perennializing varieties that I have, and they do actually really well here for me. So I'm really happy because my astilbes came back, and that made me really happy. I have to weed it. I'm going to mulch this entire thing. I didn't do too much work here because I wanted to wait until these came up. Now I know where they are. I can dig out all of this quack grass and lay down cardboard and mulch on top of that and keep it nice and hydrated so we can get the fungi, like those mushroom spores that I installed last year. We're going to get more of that going and really get it nice. And I want them no-till. I want those, all these beds are going to be no-till eventually. I'm just working my way through succession by succession each year of a section of the field. So it's going to be much easier to manage. I know the tulips over there are much easier to manage, that I've done it no-till, and same with the tulips in the front garden. So this is all planted with cut flower and filler. I don't know what's what. I just went and started planting, and my tags are all mixed up. They got faded. Some of the stuff, well, I can tell you this is Godacia or Clarkia. I have this whole section planted with that. That's still Godacia. That's Godacia. It goes all the way down. And then I have a few other different fillers. I have Cosmos, and it just goes on and on and on of different fillers. There's some like filler grasses and stuff, and some volunteer sunflowers. But yeah, these are Cosmos. I think we have a mixture. I think it's almost Godacia almost all the way down, which is the main line flower. Instead of me doing snapdragons this year, I'm going to do Godacia as line flowers because we have Astor's yellow so bad from grasshoppers. I think I just struggle with doing summertime snaps, so I'm going to skip them. This bed, I can't even tell you how frustrated I am with these sunflowers. And then the chickens got underneath my mesh, and they like raked up a bunch of this stuff. So I'm gonna come in here probably not when it's too hot, because it's actually creating a cover for these. We've had 30 degrees Celsius weather the last couple days, so I'm going to leave these as a cover, and then I'm gonna come through and I'm gonna pull all of these out. I'm gonna try to salvage some so I can transplant them, but yeah, lots and lots of volunteers. But there is Ranunculus. These are planted with Ranunculus. So, and that's Ranunculus, and that's Ranunculus. These are my third successions of Ranunculus that I did, because I did an indoor planting. These ones are doing really well. And these are my outdoor planting. So I'm gonna try to, because we usually are cool, I'm gonna try to get these to go as late into the summer as I can. I have shade cloths to go over it and stuff, so we'll see. It's just this unusual heat that we're having. And these grew really fast. So my issue is they grew through my fine mesh before I could lift it. So now the mesh is gonna stay. I'm gonna have to cut it out. And it's okay, it's holding it. Keeping the chickens out, but I would have liked to have pulled it off, but it is what it is. It'll be there for one season, and it's gonna suck because I have to cut, but at least it'll strip the leaves off for me when I go to harvest them. So, but yeah, this is a weedy mess and I need to get it done. So this is this week's project, and then cutting all the grass and stuff. But I guess we can go look inside. It's gonna vent, and I'm sorry, it's gonna probably vent all night. And this is the only chance I have to give you a garden tour. So, yeah, we'll have to maybe do a voiceover once we're in there. But isn't that pretty? Okay. I did have stuff planted in here, and you can see there's tulips trying to come up. I can't believe it. There's tulips growing, trying to come up in here. So they want to grow. They were a variety that I didn't think would perennialize, and they are. They're really trying to go for it in my mulch pile. Alrighty, let's enter. My air conditioner's still in here. It's really hot in the house. So I'm gonna try to talk as loud as I can over these fans. But these here are looking so good. I'm talking into a fan, so I'm probably gonna sound funny. They look really good. I'm probably gonna be able to use some of them for cut flowers. So, and I do have them, I planted them in with these lilies I fall planted inside the greenhouse just as an experiment, because they were planted in crates and they survived and they come up. So we're already getting like major growth on some of these lilies that I had fall planted. So that's really great. I also have kale growing in here still. And I think I'm going to plant zinnias in here. Or I'm not sure, maybe Dara, but I think I'm gonna go with zinnias in here because I'm gonna be harvesting all of this kale. So I would immediately like to plant it with a crop that I can have for this summer that can withstand heat, because I don't want to babysit the greenhouse after my cool season stuff is gone. So this is really nice. It is, oh my goodness, I'm having a blank. Honeywort. So this stuff is a great filler, and it's starting to bloom. So this stuff, when you harvest it, you have to put it in boiling water. And so I'm going to be starting to harvest it next week for my florist and see how she likes it. I didn't plant a whole bunch of it. That's why I just kind of put a little bit in here. You stinker. You, oh, out. He's a troublemaker. Okay, so anyways, that's what I'm doing. I do have bunny tails already. They're going for it. And then some snapdragons. The ones that I had gotten, they were called, I think, Cherry Twist. They did not recover from getting a freeze. So these are all Costa varieties. And then this is what was left for the stalk, the Anytime stalk. And so there wasn't a lot of it, but it's starting to bloom. This is a branching stalk, so I can cut it and it'll come again, which is why I kind of like to stick these little pockets. My florist is like, we're in a small town, so the more little things I can do for varieties, for like uniqueness, the more she appreciates it. Because sometimes it's like a make to order, like she'll phone and say, hey, I need this or this, and then you just grab a little bit of randomness and she can pull it together. These are also Costa Snapdragons, a variety. There's a whole bunch of them. And then I just have some Queen Anne's lace here. And down there I have Rebecca. So this is doing pretty good. It was planted in January, I think, or February in here. And then this was last year's fall planted. I dug, remember it, like when it was 20 below outside, there was this yarrow was blooming out there. And I dug it and I put it in here last fall and it survived. So this is fall planted. This here is spring planted. These are all spring planted. Look at the difference. There's like, it's like night and day from those plants. The Dara is going for it as well. I watered in here really heavily because it was super hot and it just flopped over. So I'm gonna harvest that. Hopefully it can withstand till like tomorrow night. And then I can take that to my florist. I interplanted any place that I had some issues with my Lysianthus. My Lysianthus this year, I'm really disappointed in it. I'm not sure if I'm going to be ordering again from the same place that I had ordered them this year. So I had a lot die back. So I have volunteer tomatoes everywhere in here. These are kind of dry, but there are just tomatoes everywhere. They're just growing everywhere and I need to pull some of these out. But yeah, interplanted snapdragons, any place that I lost plants. And I need to go through because I see I have some fusarium wilt again. I don't know about growing Lysianthus. It's kind of a pain in the butt. So, especially in a climate like ours where it is cold and damp. So yeah, Lysianthus for days. This stuff's doing pretty good though. Some of it. I had a lot of it rosette. The Bells of Ireland, they're doing good. Sweet Annie, with grasshoppers on it. This might be a trap crop. Lysianthus. It just goes on and on. Oh look. Dara. These are yarrow. This side of the greenhouse I will never plant stock again because it just cooks it. It doesn't like it, it's too hot. So that's a learning experience. But this stuff, it's getting the shade cloth and it really is thriving in this location. And look at the stem length, they're just beautiful. They're growing so well. So I'll be harvesting a bunch of this as well. And it'll keep coming back as long as it's cool enough. The shade cloth has really helped tremendously for keeping my ranunculus blooming. As you can see, the ranunculus, this is a variety called Pauline, I think it is. And this is a mix, the yellow, these all come from a mix. But some of these are so pretty. This one's gonna be really big when it opens up. They're getting some nice size. I like these salmon ones. They're so gorgeous. But they're doing really well considering. The anemones are doing great as well. We have quite a few of them still blooming. They just keep going and going and going. I really am impressed with this crop. Look at you, handsome. Hi. You're not supposed to be in here, big guy. You like them? Yeah. Okay. Come here. I'm just being nice so I can catch you. Okay. So yeah, anemone. There's quite a few. The one thing though I noticed is that my mix didn't come very mixed. It's mostly reds, and None of my white ones with the black center bloomed. None of them actually grew. Marigolds are doing okay. These are white swan. They're starting to bloom. This one it fell over, so. And yeah, oh, my sweet peas. These are filler flowers I had done an experiment on. They're still blooming, so they're doing good. I gotta go back here now. The stock is doing great. This is, oh, what is it? Nigella? Or, no, it's not Nigella. I think it is Scabiosa or something. I can't remember. I don't know what it is. Scabiosa. And then sunflowers. I've succession planted and put seeds in so many times. This little patch right here. Then this is my little sparkle for bouquets. It's like a cloud grass and whatnot. The phlox is doing okay. It's starting to put more branches and stuff. I'm hoping that these carnations start to bloom soon. Oh, looks like we're getting some action here somewhere. But it would be really nice to get some carnations and dianthus. Now this is the Godacia. This is what I was talking about replacing my snapdragons as line flowers. So they're just like a row of like blooms. And they're just like you can use them as a line flower. You can use them as filler, or you could use them as a focal. This is just one of the colors I have this year, but I have multiple colors planted outside. The garlic needs to be weeded. Hey, buddy. What are you doing? You're not supposed to be in here. I gotta be nice to you because people said I'm being mean to my cats. Anyway, the garlic is really it's doing well. I have baby's breath interplanted with it, and I had some soapwort as filler for cut flowers interplanted, and it's done really well. So it's weedy. I just weeded it and it's weedy again. And the status is going crazy. It's already trying to bloom, so I gotta take that off. I have some Lysianthus in there. And this is bachelor buttons, and they are trying to go for it. So that's kind of cool. And then more flowering kale. It's been so warm it lost its color. It's white and dark purple. And then snapdragons. So I've been harvesting these. They're doing okay. And I'm not doing ever, I'm never ever doing eucalyptus again in northern Alberta. Done. I learned my lesson. Done. So to keep it cool, I have an air conditioner and a fan and a fan and a fan. And it's venting, and then I have a sprinkler system that I bring in here, and I cool it off by spraying the roof and making it rain. But it hasn't been too bad with these no-till beds. I'm really liking it, and I'm gonna definitely use leaf mulch again in the future. Oh, and then the daffodils, I didn't show this side. The daffodils are kind of phased out. I'm gonna keep these daffodils in here so I can have these as perennial every year, early spring. And then I just planted some sunflowers to make mini sunflowers. I'm kind of trying to stress them so we can have mini sunnies. And then I have more ranunculus down here. And these are the white ones. These guys are not, I don't know what's going on with them. I don't like this variety. They're just not my favorite. And these are the bonbon, I think they're called. They're doing pretty good. No, they're not. They're not doing good at all. Ugh. Oh yeah, and these are sunballs. They're starting to grow little balls on them, so we'll be harvesting there soon. That's it. Well, thank you for hanging out with me and seeing what's growing in my garden. I am hoping to start getting more vegetables and my homestead garden going here before I run out of spring to do it. Because we have such a short growing season, I do need to get to it. But this has been very time consuming, just getting the flower farm going, and I hope you enjoy all my hard work and labor this far. Here's an update on our little baby chicks. Aren't they cute? This was an order that went to Valley View today, part of an order for a bridal shower. I love the color of these tulips. I think my favorite this year so far has been the Salmon Van Eycks. They're so good. Love them. Was that you? Was that you that did? No. Don't even think about it, sister. Bad dog. LA? No. We're being naughty.